Welcome to the latest edition of the Fourth and Gold podcast. We are at the divisional round. Wildcard weekend did not disappoint. How many wildcards won this week? Was it 4 or 5? I think it was 4 out of 6 wildcard teams putting out division winners, which let's have more of the same this week. Before we get into the games pool, I think we have to touch on the big news this week, just briefly, because it does affect you, in that the great Mike Tomlin has stepped down as the Steelers head coach. It's been a few days, so you've had a bit of time to digest, but wanted to get your thoughts, your feelings on this.
So I love Coach Tomlin. I love the guy. Like, he is truly, like, you think of when you say Pittsburgh, he would be, hockey fans would say Mario Lemieux, but possibly Big Ben. But in recent years, you go Mike Tomlin. So I love Mike Tomlin, but I love my team more. And I think now, having time to kind of reflect a little bit on this, I think this is going to benefit the Steelers moving forward. It might be some short-term pain. It might be that first losing season since 2004. But do you know what happened after the 2004 losing season? They were in position to draft Big Ben. And that's what happens. This is how the NFL operates. The Patriots sucked. They were in position to draft Drake May. The Bears sucked. They could draft Caleb. That's how it goes. So, and not to bang on it, but because Tomlin isn't going to be there, that means by result of this that Aaron Rodgers will not be back. And that's got to be a good thing long term. This team have to start looking forward. They have to start looking to the future. And Coach Tomlin, it was painful to watch. It was painful to watch this offense for quite a few years now. So it's been a long time. It's been a minute, as the Americans would say, since that crazy playoff game against the Jags. Do you remember where they went up 21-0, like straight off the bat? And then that crazy game with the offense of Bell, Brown, and Big Ben. Those days are gone. So this could be one of those that benefits both sides. Because Coach Tomlin as well, he wouldn't have liked, and he's aware of everything. He's a supremely intelligent man. He would have heard all the chants of Fire Tomlin during that Buffalo home game. So things were starting to turn in Pittsburgh, and I think it was time for him to exit. So he exits with his reputation intact, and that's only right that you see a guy kind of going out on his terms. And if we are to believe the news coming out of the Steelers, is that he stepped down. He was not. Rooney's come out and said, I wanted to retain him. So, and that could be because, they want to get some draft compensation for him for wherever he might go. But big picture, I love my team more than I love my Coach Tomlin. And I do love Coach Tomlin, but it was time. So we'll see how this happens. But when I was talking to you the day after, I was like, I don't know how I feel. Like, I have not had this feeling since 2007. It's crazy. And it's crazy. Like, the Raiders are paying more coaches currently. The Raiders have 4 coaches that they are liable, they're on the hook for. They have more coaches that they currently pay than the Steelers have had coaches since the moon landing.
Wow.
So because of that, there's no pattern. Well, there is a pattern because they've hired 3 coaches since '69, and they've all been defensive guys. They've all been in their 30s. Will they do that? You can't really. You can call it a pattern, but It's been since 2007. So are they going to go the same way? We don't know. We don't know. Rooney said he's going to take his time with it, and I believe him. I think he will take his time with it because, he doesn't often go through this process. The Steelers don't often go through this process. So be interesting to see what happens. And Harbour being taken off the books, off the open market, is only a good thing. It's only a good thing. And he might learn what the rest of the NFL has to feel by taking up a job with the Giants. So, yeah, crazy week because, like I said, it's Pittsburgh. You associate Coach Tomlin. And yeah, he was a great coach, regardless of what any Steelers fans say. You've got short memories. Like the guy was a legend, and he was the reason why we were in a lot of games. We were still relevant in December, and just pay attention. Like look at some of the rosters that we had. Look at some of the quarterbacks that we had: Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph and Justin Fields and Russell Wilson and Kenny Damn Pickett. That's what happens. And that's that Kenny Pickett is a prime example. He is a product of being mid, being a fringe playoff team, not being in position to draft Drake May or draft Caleb Williams. You're in position to draft Kenny Pickett, who is currently a backup for the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's what happens. That's what you get. But we move forward, and the Steelers will be okay. We'll see. We'll see what directions they go. It's going to be really, really interesting.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, how do you feel about it? Not having the Steelers as your team, but like just the news. I mean, if you follow the NFL, if you said to someone Steelers, they'd probably go, maybe Steel Curtin or Joe Green or Bettis or Big Ben. But a lot of people, like you're not even involved in the NFL, will go Mike Tomlin.
Mm. I think Chris Sims said it best this week that towards the end, Tomlin was a victim of his own success. It's what you said. Look at some of these rosters, look at some of these quarterbacks. He really got the absolute maximum out of these teams, that in some cases didn't really have any business making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's why, I hope that most rational Steelers fans will recognize that Tomlin, yeah, okay, he didn't win a playoff game in his last, what was it, 9 years? But he wasn't really given the tools to do so, in my opinion, for a lot of that time. But, without a doubt, I mean, Tomlin's all I've known as a Steelers coach from the outside. And, he's one of the best coaches in the league, without a doubt. You don't get to that many wins at his young age still without being great. So it's a good time to part for both parties, and
Yeah.
I'm glad it's been done in a classy, mutual way.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. In how you would expect the Steelers to conduct themselves.
Yeah.
Like there's doesn't seem to be any animosity. It was just okay. He's maybe he's listened. He's aware of what's happening. He's listening to the fan voices. It's like, you know what? Okay, it might benefit them and it might benefit me. He can go on to do whatever he wants to do because he's now earned that right. He's made his reputation from the guy being in his early 30s, walking into that locker room, that Bill Cowher. So in early 30, can you imagine it? That team were like a serial winning team. Had just come off a Super Bowl like a couple of years before, and he's walked into that locker room in his early 30s, I believe.
Yep.
And so he's walking into a locker room with, Harrison and Farrier and like Big Ben and just Bettis and no, Bettis walked off. Bettis was out of there, but just guys, like reputation guys. And yeah, Troy and Ryan Clark and Ike Taylor and these guys, like And he's a young guy, just making his reputation. Never been a head coach, been a defensive coordinator in Minnesota and a defensive backs coach in Tampa. And within 2 years, he was Super Bowl champion. And yeah, a lot of Steelers fans go, okay, well, he did it with Coach Cowell's team. Yeah, but he still had to get them to play.
Yep.
And they still had to listen to him. And they were involved in a lot of crazy games that year. That like historically tough schedule that they had. And yeah, yeah, I will do it over the coming weeks when this season's all wrapped up. I'll go back and I'll watch the 2008 America's game of that Steelers team because Tomlin was and still is an inspirational guy. When he talks, people listen, and he got that locker room to listen to him as a young head coach, first time head coach, and he's a Super Bowl champion. No one can take that away from him.
And I stand by it. That is the greatest Super Bowl of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That
yes,
Super Bowl was crazy. Okay, well, I think we had to pay homage to Tomlin.
absolute respect to Coach Tomlin. Like,
Yeah.
the guy's a legend, and yeah, you know these media. It's easy for these media guys to just be just banging on Coach Tomlin. Okay, look, do you? And like I've said before, is it your opinion based on evidence, or is it just a reaction to get hot takes and clicks? Because Coach Tomlin is a true legend, and like you said, you said it perfectly. He kept the Steelers relevant. He kept got the Steelers to the playoffs and to winning records with rosters that on a lot of occasions were subpar. And he is the reason why they called them like the Tomlin games. It makes no sense, but they're going to win because it's Mike Tomlin.
Absolutely.
What do you?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get down to business. The final eight. It kicks off on Saturday. The first game is Bills at Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 1.5, which is interesting. I don't have enough words. I'm not going to go into it too much, but I don't have enough words to say how much I admire Josh Allen. Like, just another Herculean performance last week. His defense came through for him, so I will give them credit. But early in that game, he had to be tested for a concussion. He banged his hand on a helmet and he had his knee twisted. And that wasn't going to stop him. Like in a game that I gave him a chance, but it was that classic matchup. Bills have the better quarterback, Jaguars have the better overall team, and I stand by that. But when it mattered, he came through with big plays, big moments, the big throw to Cook. Like, this guy, I don't care what anyone says, this guy is an all-time quarterback in this league. I know he hasn't won the big one yet, but you look at his playoff performances, he plays his best football in January. A lot of these losses that he's had haven't been on him. And I know that's the narrative that people don't like. But now they go up against the number one seed Broncos, who have had that extra week's rest. And I look at this game, I look at last week's game, and I say the Jaguars missed a trick because at one point they ran the ball 3 times with Tootin in a row, and he went for 45 yards across those three carries. They were pretty much. It wasn't like there was one for 40. It was literally like 15-yard gash, 13-yard gash, 16, 17-yard gash. He only got one more carry in the game. And it's what I hammer on about this Bills defense. The way to attack them is to run the ball, because if you catch them on an off day, you're going for 200 plus. And I think the Jaguars, with the weapons that they had, they've got ETN and Tootin is electric. It could have been one of those days, I think, but they got away from it. When I look at the Broncos, I think both me and you were really high on RJ Harvey in the offseason, and he's kind of shown like this guy's going to be a good running back. But overall, the Broncos' run game, do I really think that it's capable of going for 200? I don't think it's. I don't think it's like a high-powered running attack. They'll have success, but I don't think it's going to be one of those games for the Bills that I always close my eyes at, where they give up 200 yards rushing. So if the Bills keep the run game in check, it's over to the passing game with Bo Nix. And I do have questions about this. Like, they've got pretty decent weapons, but again, I don't look at them and say, that guy scares me. With all due respect to a Cortland Sutton and an Evan Engram, they're good players, but this isn't Jamar Chase. And Bo Nix he's been pretty clutch in fourth quarters, but that's because he's struggled throughout games. So this is a really interesting match, I think. They met last year in Buffalo, and I believe the score was 31-7 Bills. Somehow I don't think it's going to be that way this year. It will be close though. But I'm picking the upset. I think that the Bills can beat the rested Broncos. My only concern with this is the interior rush of the Broncos. Will they get home and break the game? Then all bets are off. But provided the Bills can give Josh Allen a little bit of protection, enough, I think this could be another Josh Allen hero game, just like last week. And if they keep the run game in check, that's when this Bills defense comes to life. And I will give them the respect that they deserve after last week. The two key factors for me: get Brandon Cooks involved in the receiving game in the critical downs, because they don't really have a receiver that I feel is reliable outside of Cooks now. Gabe Davis is out. I think that's addition by subtraction. And hopefully they can get James Cook going this week, because, like I said, there was no run game for Josh Allen either last week. It was a lot on his shoulders, banged up shoulders, and he came through. And you know what? I say he comes through again this Saturday. Bills win.
Interesting. So big picture, do you see Josh Allen going on this? Because it would be a legendary run. Like, forget all the stuff about there's no Mahomes, there's no Lamar. This is a number 6 seed, and look at the Bills roster. Look at who plays receiver, and look at this Bills run defense. Just look at the stats. For Josh Allen to do that against Jacksonville last week, and let's just get it right. He massively outplayed Trevor Lawrence in a duel, which was the Jags, like you said, should have run the ball more. But they kind of said, okay, Trevor Lawrence, he's been playing well. And okay, Trevor Lawrence didn't play how he has the last month of the season, but he was massively outplayed by Josh Allen. Josh Allen won the game at the end, and Trevor Lawrence threw the pick that ended the game at the end, and another pick earlier in the game. So, but Josh Allen doesn't play in every position on both sides of the ball, and that is the issue for the Buffalo Bills. And they've had, your mate Davis is out, but also I've heard Kincaid is out as well, so another guy is down. So believe they're down to like 3 known receivers on the outside, and the Denver secondary is damn good. So Denver's got the advantage in that respect. Denver's got the pass rush. Denver's rested. Denver's at mile high. Denver's got the number 1 seed. Everything points to Denver. But like you said, they've got the unicorn in Josh Allen there. And what I thought about with Denver was this guy, for example, there's many of them, but Nick Bonito. So he's the fastest like to the quarterback in terms of speed pass rusher in the NFL. When he gets there, I think I'm right in saying that Josh Allen is bigger than him. So
Wow.
can he put Josh Allen on his backside.
Mm.
He can affect him, sure, but then affecting him might even turn it into a better play because Josh Allen, his rushing yards over under is 38 and a half. I mean, I love that. I love that. I don't have a hugely strong opinion. I won't be having a huge bet on the game, but Josh Allen over 38 and a half rushing yards. Sure. Sign me up.
Because he might need to. It might need to be that. Like you said, the matchup at receiver clearly is in the favor of Denver. So Allen's going to have to make some magic happen.
And also the Denver defense, yeah, it's been really, really good throughout the season. But in the last few weeks, it's not been at the same level. They had their kind of, not struggles, but it just came back down to earth a little bit. So I don't know. Josh Allen by definition makes this pick difficult because if there's any other human playing quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, this would be an automatic pick for me. I'm going to go with Denver off a week's rest. Coach Payton to have an extra week to prepare. And it's on tape, the Jacksonville game. It's on tape. Like, just you can't stop Josh Allen, but you can hopefully just limit the damage.
Run the ball and keep him off the field.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's at Mile High. And, that is a home field advantage. It's going to be crazy there. And I just don't think the Bills roster is up to it. I think they played a good game last week, but I think it's tough to go back to back on the road against two pretty good defenses. And they needed Trevor Lawrence to have a below par performance last week for it to be close. And Jacksonville still had a chance to win that game late. And Trevor Lawrence lost it. Well, okay, Buffalo took it away, but Jacksonville still could have won that game despite Josh Allen playing the way that he did. So Josh needs to be Superman, which he is more than capable of doing. But I think it's tough. So I'm picking the Broncos. And the spread has changed. The spread has flip-flopped in the week. So it's now what, Denver are favored?
Yeah, 1.5.
I think it opened Bills minus a point or Bills minus a point and a half, which was
wow.
Surprised of. So Denver were at least a disrespected number one seed.
You could say they still are at 1.5, being the home team.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, and I'm really looking forward to this matchup. Like this Denver pass rush against Josh Allen. I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be must. And obviously, it's a playoff game. It's must-watch television. But yeah, just the speed on defense of Denver against Josh Allen, short-handed at receiver. The Bills, the more I think of it, the Bills really need to get this run game going because I think it's going to be really tough because Denver bring the heat, and
Batman needs Robin this week. He managed without him last week. He needs him this week.
Yeah, so the Bills need to dial up some more running plays for sure.
Mm.
And yeah, they need to get Cooks involved. Again, like he still looks like he's got the speed, so get him involved. And get him on Riley Moss. Don't get him on Satan. Get him on Riley Moss. Yeah, I'm picking the Broncos. Extra week's rest, number one seed. Cam Bonix win his first playoff game. Got a good situation to do it. But yeah, I think the Broncos have got this one.
Okay. Moving on to the second game on Saturday night. From one number one seed to another, the Seahawks host my San Francisco 49ers. I got to say, I couldn't be prouder of the Niners after last week. I gave them no shot. That was the one matchup that really scared me. And I thought, no chance, not in Philly. and that was just pure guts and will and just courage to deliver and execute on both sides of the ball. The defense, I know that the Eagles' offense has struggled, but the defense did more than enough. If we lost that game, it was going to be on the offense. But we came through. So we moved to this game. One scary defense to another. The Seattle Seahawks completely shut us down 2 weeks ago. They thoroughly deserved win. Held Shanahan to a historic low for him in his tenure at 3 points. And I think this week it is all about that matchup again. The 49ers offense versus the Seahawks defense. Whoever wins this wins the game for their team, in my opinion, because the Seattle offense hasn't done much against the 49ers either this year. In both games, they scored 13 points. I know week one is week one, but I would have thought they would have scored more in week 17, knowing like how many injuries we had. And yeah, okay, I get it. They held us to 3 points, so maybe there was a little bit of that as well. But it's Sam Darnold's second playoff game. So I think he played one last year against the Rams.
Yeah.
In what was a bit of a weird game because they had to play it in Arizona. This will be a home playoff game for him though. So they are rested. It's another one of these, like you said in the Denver game. Seattle have had that extra week's rest. Niners are on a short week. Who's going to play for the Niners this week? Do we get D Winters back? I mean, I've got to say it. Eric Kendricks coming off the street to just give us a vintage performance. This is a fourth and gold fantasy legend. I think one of us always put him in our fantasy teams, and he just came back and, really, we couldn't have won the game without him. And fitting that he would make the play to end the game. My question is, well, there's two questions. Will he have D Winters next to him? And the biggest question is, will he have Fred Warner next to him? I'm not expecting it, but as this week has gone on, I now think the door is slightly open. Fred Warner is trying his absolute most to play in this game. And just him being around, I think, will have already given this roster a lift. I think Seattle will score points. But as I said, I think the key matchup is 49ers offense versus Seattle defense. And Brock Purdy, maybe hard to believe this, is 4-0 in Seattle. So,
but he's 1-3 against Mike Macdonald.
He's 1-3 against Mike Macdonald. Interesting. So that's the split last year.
He's 6 touchdowns to 8 picks against a Macdonald coach defense.
Interesting. Well, he must have won 2 because we split last year as well.
Yeah, I heard the stat secondhand.
Okay, so maybe it's still like 1 win or 2 wins.
Yeah.
No Kittle. That is brutal for us in a game where we struggled to protect Purdy in the game in San Francisco. So a lot rests on, can we get Pearsall back on the field? He torched Seattle in week 1. Again, I know it's week 1, but he makes a real difference to this team. And I think the fact that I can't remember if we had Trent in week 17. Trent is back. And that, like you said last week, is a massive factor. This game, it tells you really there's a reason why you want to get the number 1 seed, because you want the rest. You want to play a wild card team on a short week. but I have to pick the Niners. I have to pick the Niners this week. I gave them no chance against the Eagles, and maybe my radar is completely off in these playoffs. But I give us a chance. I really give us a chance against Seattle. We both know each other very well. This rivalry runs deep. The infamous NFC Championship in Seattle, where Sherman made one of the greatest playoff plays that I've ever seen. But I'm going to
The Crabtree game.
the Crabtree game.
The number one corner in the game.
Exactly. But Shanahan said it this week. He said, I'm glad I'm getting another shot. All I could ask for is another shot at them.
Yeah.
And I think we will score more than 3 points in this game. So,
well, you bet. Damn, you bet.
We'd better. We'd better. I think there's enough though. Like especially if Pearsall plays, I know it hurts that we don't have Kittle, but Shanahan's got some. He's got some plays up his.
He's gonna need to
up his sleeve as well
this week. Like there's no tomorrow.
If there's no tomorrow, exactly.
No tomorrow now, like whatever you've got, don't worry about. I need to save that for the NFC title game. No. Seattle's a big enough problem to deal with. So we saw the crazy play. Jennings to McCaffrey in Philadelphia. He needs to bring it against Seattle because Seattle's a real defense.
But we also saw the reverse Texas route by McCaffrey. That touchdown doesn't. I've never seen that play before. Like the usual way that play is run is that if McCaffrey's on one side, he's going to run kind of an out and then in. He ran across the offensive line, so you think, oh, he's going to run to the outside, and then he came in. I don't think I've ever seen that route before. I'm going to take the Niners to win. I have to believe. Like maybe I'm thinking with my heart over my head, but we know how to beat Seattle. Like it's just a case of will this offense put up enough points? And I don't think the number's going to be that high. I see this being under. I think we'll do enough. And that's crazy for me to say after what I was saying last week. But Niners win. Spread is 7. Therefore, Niners cover.
I love it because you're normally like I get on you for being down on your team. I tell you, I try to motivate you to be more positive about your team because you're naturally like thinking you want to, and I get it, it's the reverse psychology sometimes, but so
not this week.
Yeah, when you say it, you do mean it. You do truly mean it.
And just to say, Shanahan has this weird record. It could end this week with the Niners. He either doesn't make the playoffs or he makes the NFC title game or Super Bowl. No in between.
Yeah. The last time the San Francisco 49ers, and this is a true stat, not the Brock Purdy stat. The last time the San Francisco 49ers were one and done in the playoffs was 2001.
Wow.
Against Green Bay in 2001. So we should have been aware of this stat last week. I was not aware of that stat. And it is on record, me saying that Philadelphia would win last week. I was not hugely confident, but I did text you pre-game and I said...
You did.
But I've got a feeling. I'm looking at Purdy's body language and I saw the 49ers in pre-game and there's something to be said for energy and presence. And they were, we're coming into Philadelphia and we're here and, you're going to hear from us. And they brought it to the Eagles and but the Eagles still should have won the game. Because the 49ers, they're performing miracles and credit to them with the guys that are currently playing. It's almost not fair, but the 49ers are, making the absolute maximum. And we saw an Eagles team that have got massive struggles on offense. And Purdy threw a couple of picks and the Eagles could not take advantage because of the problems that they've got on offense. So will that happen if Purdy throws 2 picks this week?
Yes, it's not. He has to play a clean game.
Yeah, and he didn't have a good game recently against his Seahawks defense. That they brought it that game. I
Mm,
was watching that game like, wow, the 49ers offense can't do anything against this defense.
mm.
And this is Shanahan. And Shanahan, you expect to have answers, but he hasn't had the answers recently against Mike McDonald and the defense. And it's a bit of coaching with Mike McDonald, but they've got some serious talent on defense, Seattle, and speed everywhere. So I struggle because 49ers is the romantic story. It is the team you want to root for. They're banged up and no one gives them a shot. And again, like Kittle gets hurt, and you're like, what else can happen to this team? And now they're playing against a division rival. No one gives them a shot on the road. They recently played them, and they got controlled a little bit. And yes,
Shut down.
and
Yeah.
yes, Seattle did score 13 points, but they battered the 49ers, especially in the first half there. And they should have, I can't remember exactly like if they went for it a couple of times or fourth down or.
On the first drive, they went for it fourth down. Darnold didn't see the flat was open for a touchdown.
Okay. But
But you could sort of say this in the same breath that that when the score was one score, Purdy throws a ball that's just behind McCaffrey near the goal line. It gets tipped, interception. So yeah, to and fro.
Purdy was under a heck of a lot of pressure in
Yeah.
that. And Trent Williams only plays one position on this offensive line, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that side of this matchup is still going to be the same. I don't know how Purdy's going to overcome this because they struggle to run the ball as well against. I want the 49ers to find a way. I just struggle to see how they're going to do it on offense. I do.
Mm.
I think I think the 49ers need everything to fall into place for them to win this game. But disclaimer, I have played the 49ers. As soon as the line came out, I saw it and I played and I saw it and I just pounced on it. I played the 49ers plus 7.5. But I think the Seahawks are going to win the game. I think, like you said, it could be kind of low scoring, but I think there's a little bit of leeway for Sam Darnold to be Sam Darnold. That's unfair, but for Sam Darnold to have a lesser than game, and because of
Yeah.
the construction of his roster, he could get away with it this week. Because the 49ers, like you said, it's a nice story. It's a great story. It's a great story. Eric Hendricks is making plays, and who plays who else is your starting linebackers? I don't know on a week to. I just don't know on a week to week basis, and yeah, I think that's a problem. I think Seattle are gonna run for success this week. I think this running game, this offensive line, are gonna have success against the 49ers. Saquon Barkley didn't do a great deal last week, but he struggled greatly this year. This Seattle run game.
The Eagles run like two run plays, so
Yeah.
like you're going to be prepared for it. So it's a very different task this week. They had great success with, I think, both Walker and Charbonnet in week 17. Really gashed us. That surprised me. So that is an issue.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of allowance for Sam Darnold to not. And if Sam Darnold plays a good game, then I don't think this is close.
Mm.
So
What's the number then? What's the number this week for the Niners, do you think? What number does the offense have to get to win the game?
it has to be in the 20s.
Yeah.
If you put up 20 points, then this is a contest.
Yeah. I had 24 in my mind.
Yeah. I see Seattle scoring 20 points. Just recent memory, like they 13, and that game was that game was in hand,
Yeah,
the game, and they had the issues. And Sam Darnold did have a lesser than game for the most part.
yeah. Run game and defense won that game for sure.
Yeah. So 20 points for the 49ers, then we've got ourselves a game. And I hope for that. I'm a consumer. I've got no dog in this fight. I want to watch this as a product. I don't want a 13-3 game. I do not want that. I want this to be two squads who hate each other, division rivals. We're coming into your house. We're gonna bring it, and Seattle with the 12s, like, yeah, just the energy in the stadium. I want to see it. I want to feel it off the screen, and I hope for that. So I hope for San Francisco to put up 20 points. But if I'm asked to pick the game, I'm going to pick the Seahawks, but I have played the 49ers to cover the spreads.
Okay. So we move on to Sunday's games. First up, very interesting. Texans at the Patriots. Patriots are favored by 3, so this is a legit game. What are your thoughts?
Well, the Patriots fans are back. They back and they have their opinions. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, they feel, I don't know, and I don't know where it's come from, the energy from the Patriots fans, because
Winning. That's where it's come from. They're winning again.
in the last year, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that Chargers game was not a good product to watch. A great product to watch if you followed the Patriots, but
Mm.
yeah, how wrong was I? Like, Patriots won't be able to get after, or they haven't got the guys to get after Justin Herbert. And credit to them.
Mm.
They they brought it. And the Chargers offensive line, I know what they need to do in the offseason and free agency and the draft and guys off the street and just anyone who can play offensive line. Um, yeah, New England's an interesting team because, I'll keep coming back to it. And sorry, Patriots fans, but yeah, it's still the schedule, and it's still because it's relevant. It is, you're playing now, like, and you're almost a reflection of the team that you're going to play. Houston have been involved in a lot of contests against real teams, and they played a lot of teams with winning records. They've been involved in a pretty tough division. They were counted out early in the season, and they've clawed their way back to make the playoffs. Then, yeah, the Steelers have had massive. We saw that, but they've won a game on the road in the playoffs still, and so I don't. This game's tough to call because I've gone back and forth with this one. The Patriots offense against the Houston Texans defense. The Houston Texans defense is really, really good. And I was as well surprised to see the guys in the secondary and not, yeah, Stingley and Lassiter, but Petrie was making plays last week. And the two guys off the edge, Anderson and Hunter, they're a problem. They're a real problem. So the Patriots offensive line, I really hope for their sake and for Drake May's sake, has a really good game this week because they're going to need to. And Houston's so simple. They just line up 4 and just bring 4. And do you know what? Those 4 are so damn good that they cause absolute chaos. And it's the cliche, isn't it? Defense wins championships. And it can win a championship for Houston. But I think it can only win a championship if CJ Stroud plays a better game than he did last week. They got away with it because the Steelers were the Steelers on offense. And the Patriots are not going to play to that level. Because Drake May is young, athletic enough, mobile enough to. I think I think he will be able to escape a little bit, or he'll see because of the Houston scheme. They're not going to. There's no disguised blitzes. There might be some stunts, but there's not going to be disguised blitzes of whoa, that guy came from nowhere. No, they're coming from their expected positions. So Drake May will, except if he's coming from the backside, then Drake May will see the pressure coming and he can escape, and we've seen that with him. When the line came out, I thought I was immediately drawn to Houston and thought that they're going to win this or at least cover. But CJ Stroud worries me, and Nico Collins is out.
Is he definitely out?
Yeah, he's out.
Mm,
Well, he had a concussion, and
yeah.
what I've heard is that he's very doubtful to make this game because that game was Monday night as well, short week. And Christian Gonzalez is expected to play for the Patriots. I'm going to go with the Patriots because I think Drake May's got enough in him to escape just enough to make some plays. Yeah, and CJ Stroud is not. He's having problems in handling the football. And let's be honest about it, he hasn't had a wonderful season. And we both love CJ Stroud, but he has not been the same quarterback since his rookie year, really. He's had moments, sure, and he's still got the arm talent, but just something seems to be off with him. And now it's for an extended period of time. And that's concerning. But he's got the talent to just for it to reappear for sure. But it's now long enough a period for it to be concerning. So I'm going to go with the Patriots to win this week because I think Drake May will make enough plays. So yeah, New England wins and they cover. The spread's 3.
Okay. I share the exact same concern on CJ Stroud. Like when he came back from injury, he bounced back for a little while, but then he's fallen into this. It's what I said last week. Can you get CJ Stroud to panic a bit? And, he might not have panicked, but my goodness, like you have the number one defense. Your number one priority is no turnovers. And I tell you now, if he has, or if Houston's offense has no turnovers in this game, would you change your pick? If I told you this is what's happened, Texans offense, no turnovers.
Yes.
Exactly. It's whether or not that can happen or not, because that scoreline last week didn't really, to me, reflect the game. Like, it was a lot of scoring at the end. That
It,
game was close for a while.
it was 7-6 heading into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So that tells you that the Steelers couldn't capitalize on those turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Patriots could. And CJ Stroud threw a bad pick in the red zone, which took points away from them. So my message to CJ Stroud is literally, it's okay to be a game manager this week. See where you are in the fourth quarter, but do not, by by any means necessary, you cannot turn the ball over. You have the number one defense who can win games by themselves, in my opinion. And I guess it wasn't all bad. Like you saw the worst of CJ Stroud, but you also saw some big time throws.
Yeah,
A few of them where you're
Christian.
like, oh yeah,
Yeah, the Texans. So they're a little bit matchup dependent. So they identified that Brandon Eccles in the slot is lesser than Christian Kirk, and Christian Kirk is going to burn him on a lot of occasions, and he did.
mm,
And CJ Stroud can still sling it, but Yeah, and so he had a big, big game. But the Patriots secondary is greater than the Steelers secondary.
Fair. And the Patriots, one thing that does scream out on defense is they are violent. Like they are hitting people hard. You know, that must be the Vrabel effect.
Mike Vrabel coach team, yeah.
And I think it does. I think that is a factor. Like you get hit hard, harder than usual. Like these offenses can shy away. Like these receivers suddenly don't want to make the catch over the middle. No Nico Collins is a big deal. You're asking a lot of your rookie receiver, Jaden Higgins. You know, the Patriots would have seen what Kirk did last week, so that's a point of emphasis. Can they run the ball successfully with Marks? I like Marks. Like I think he's got nice burst, but CJ Stroud is going to have to make some plays as well, and it's picking the moments for that. Like you can feel the rush, and you're still trying to sidestep and make the throw. Well, that's a sack fumble. Can't happen this week. But I love this defense. Like every level. Maybe the level that never really gets any credit is that linebacker level with my my former 49er, Alziz Al Shair, and the guy Tolo Tolo makes plays.
Yeah.
But for good reason, because as you said, the two rushers, what an incredible tandem this has turned out to be. Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. And the secondary, this has to be, is it fair to say this is the best secondary in the NFL?
Yeah.
Like as a collective, I know that obviously Satan on the Broncos is, shut down, but as a collective unit, when you look at Stingley, Lassiter, Petra, Bullock has had some moments as well. They are fast, and I particularly like Petra because he is like a homing missile.
Yeah, they just make plays like open field tackles. They're really aggressive in the running game. Like when receivers catch the ball, they're going to get punished. Yeah, I love this Houston secondary. Love the way they play. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was hard to watch them against my Steelers last week because yeah, it was not fair against those old guys playing receiver.
and to your point earlier, like Drake May, I think will make play. He will make plays. He has the potential to be one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I know Patriots fans probably view him as a top five quarterback already. He can get there for me. Like he's not there obviously now, but he's shown plenty for me to think that the way that he throws the ball, in particular, the layering that he can achieve, I like what I see.
Sorry to cut in. Earlier today, I spoke to an old fourth and gold friend in Rob, who's out in America, and he brought up this game, and he said that he told me that Drake May still goes back to his old school in UNC and still is involved in the local community. So he's a great guy as well.
Yeah,
He gives back to his community, and he's appreciative of the coaching and the school that have brought him to this current spot. And he's right there now. He's hosting a divisional playoff game, and it's crazy to think. Yeah, the Patriots. Yeah, we get on their fans a little bit. They get on us. It's all good fun. It's just,
yeah,
but a couple of years ago, they weren't here. They weren't here, but they are here because of the pick that they made at quarterback. And
yeah.
of course, head coach. Not to discredit the head coach and other roster decisions, but the big two would be coach, quarterback.
And OC, they've got a great OC in
Yeah,
John
yeah,
McDaniels,
yeah, and that's going to be helping Drake May, no doubt.
and there's room for this because Josh McDaniels has failed as a head coach, so he's going to be there. I think.
Yeah, he will. He will, unless he's proven that he's. I don't want to get onto head coaches, but he's proven that he's a difficult to deal with head coach, shall we say. That's probably a political way to say it.
Yeah.
Still currently paid by the Raiders, one of the four.
No way.
Along with,
Okay.
I don't understand. Well, that's a long time ago. It must be to do with the court case or something.
Yeah. Man, they're still paying him. I can't believe that. So it comes down to two things for me. Will CJ Stroud play a clean game? I'm not sure. But the battle is, will the Patriots receivers win their matchups? I say they won't. This, I think, will be a low scoring game. I'm rolling with the defense. I'm rolling with the Texans. I can definitely see a route for the Patriots to win the game. Like, this isn't a clear cut Texans win. Like, I think it will need to go a certain way, a la CJ Stroud, don't turn the ball over. But this defense has shone for me. And we sort of saw when CJ Stroud stopped turning the ball over and we got in the fourth quarter, they are still coming. So you better have the engine to deal with them for 4 quarters because they will break you in the end. Texans win, therefore Texans cover.
The comparison between the two defenses, obviously, interesting you said that. Like in the fourth quarter, the Steelers defense, yeah, they were on the field a lot, but they were gone. They were gassed. They gone. The Steelers defense and the Texans defense were still bringing it. They were coming in the fourth quarter when both offenses weren't doing a great deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So energy levels as well. And Houston, like a warm weather team playing outside in Pittsburgh, cold night, and they were still bringing it. So team conditioning, the coaching, like they were ready for battle,
and
they won the battle.
Yeah. So we've picked 3 games, and so far you have ridden with the number 1 seeds and the number 2 seed. So the final game, which I think could be crazy, is Rams at Bears. Rams, the number 5 seed, at the Bears, who are the number 2 seed. Spread is 3.5 in favor of the Rams. What say you?
Yeah, this is a difficult game to call because earlier in the season, this is an automatic Rams pick. Chicago hasn't been in the playoffs, and the Rams are the best team in the league. MVP playing quarterback. But just lately, the Rams, and I don't know what's up with them, but the Rams have just hit some problems. I'm not discrediting Carolina, but it required Matt Stafford a fourth quarter comeback to beat the Panthers. That's not great. And the Panthers, scored 30? Was it 31? Was it 30?
Was it 34-31?
It was in the 30s. I'm sure it was. So
he banged his hand and it seemed to go wrong after that.
Yeah, they were up big. So the 2 recent games are the Rams were up big and let the Panthers come back into it, and then they had to pull it out late. And with the Bears, they were down big, and then they came back into it. And when is the Bears' luck going to run out? Or are the Bears just blessed this season? Is there something in the new Pope is from Chicago? Caleb Williams is pulling out all these fourth quarter comebacks. And some of the plays that he's making, just absolutely insane, crazy plays. He almost defies logic because he struggles sometimes with that's a automatic throw. And then rolling out to his left, Russia coming free, running for him. He's going to throw it into into an impossible window with the receiver like running out of bounds. Yeah, that's not a problem for Caleb Williams.
And just to that point, that's one of the best playoff throws I've ever seen. Like given the moment, 4th and 8, it was 4th and 3, and a false start saved them because the center snapped it way over his head. So 4th and 8, he makes that play. If he doesn't, I know the Packers probably might have choked anyway, but there was like 5 minutes left, and they were in there. But it was midfield, but in Bears territory. So down 11, that was really the game. If he didn't make that play,
Yeah, and they do seem to come alive in the second half of games, the Chicago Bears.
yeah,
Because that game, like if you're watching it live, the only reason you could pick the Bears to come back into it is that they've got Caleb Williams at quarterback, and I've watched the regular season. Because watching that game, you're like, oh, the Packers have got this. Jordan Love's having one of his games, and yeah, the Bears just can't do a lot. And Ben Johnson just went for it. Yeah, I know it's easy to say after the event. He went for it every single time on 4th down, and it didn't come off. Yeah, live by the sword, die by the sword. But in the second half, the Packers tried to run the clock out.
they got like the problem with them for the whole season. They got super conservative with a lead. That's a no for me.
Yeah. But then they still scored the touchdown late, the Packers. And you're like, oh, well, okay. I thought they were going to blow it. Oh, okay. They saved it. So now the Packers have won. But then the Bears came back again. It's a crazy game to watch.
Yeah.
You have to be sick if you're a Packers fan, especially on the road against a hated division rival. But so Chicago games are just crazy.
Crazy.
This defense, though, yeah, they kind of they played Josh Jacobs well in the second half, but this
You can kill them in the passing game.
yeah, and the Rams can pass the football.
Yeah.
So these two receivers are going to have big games, big days this week. And Matt Stafford has struggled in the cold.
Mm.
I don't know how much to buy into that, because I think a lot of that stat is he was on the Lions teams,
Yeah.
bad Lions teams at Green Bay, at Chicago. This is not an easy game to pick because the Rams have had their struggles lately.
Mm.
And two great play callers. And they're going to have some stuff. You know there's going to be some crazy plays in this. Chicago is a very interesting team. Can they just bring it in the first half?
Yeah. Yeah. Stop getting off to this bad start.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be sensible about this. I'm going to be boring and I'm going to be sensible and I'm going to pick the Rams and I'm going to say that, they they found the Panthers had a bit of an answer for the Rams this season. We've seen it twice now. And the Bears defense is going to have major problems against the Rams. And I think the Rams will be able to run the ball on the Bears as well, at least early in the game. The weather's going to be it's going to be frigid in Chicago. I've seen -12. I don't know what that translates into American to, but it's not good. It's very cold. High winds as well. So yeah, I just think the Rams. Yeah, I think the Rams are going to have a day on offense. I really do. And I don't think if the Bears play the game played that game that they did against the Packers against the Rams, then it's not close because the Rams are not letting them get back into it like the Packers did. So I'll take the Rams. The spread is -3.5 to the Rams.
Yeah.
That's interesting because Chicago kind of comes back into a lot of games. But I'll take the Rams and the Rams cover.
Okay. I think this game will go like the Packer game, like to begin with. I think the Rams are going to take a big lead because I have no faith in this Bears secondary. Like Nakua is probably going to be at 100 yards at half time, I think. Like
Yeah.
that's just the way I see it. They feed him heavily and he will make big plays against this crew. So it's whether the Bears can just stay close enough. The Rams defense, it just can't rediscover where it was at the start of the year. Like they don't look the same.
The corners worry me for the Rams. Yeah, I forgot to even get onto like the weapons that the Bears have on offense. Like they're like the guys they have with Dunze and DJ Moore and Loveland and like the running game as well with the Bears. Like they've got some serious weapons. And the Rams, the corners do worry me, but the safety play is pretty good. So I think they could at least limit Loveland. But
because Loveland is Caleb's favorite target now. It's clear. Like DJ Moore is a weird one. He is so hot and cold. Like he won't make a catch in the whole game, and then Caleb will go for him on the game winner, and he'll deliver. Like
because
that's the type of
there's a lot
receiver he is now.
in Chicago. There's a lot of guys. It's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Yeah, Burden is to me like truly an X factor. If he goes off, or if you get him involved, he can go off. But to me, I feel like it's gonna go through Loveland because Doomsday's been injured. They couldn't really get him involved last week. As you said, DJ Moore was more involved, but it's going to Loveland and the run game. But I see the Rams being up double digits at half time. So to me, it's going to be, can the Bears come back again? And I think the Rams will give them a chance from what we've seen. Like it's not clean. Like Stafford's going to play well, but it's not 100%, where he'd want it to be. I mean, if it goes that way, like against Jacksonville, they will kill the Bears. But I don't think it will. I think that it's going to be Rams leading at halftime, double digits, and the Bears come roaring back. But I think their luck has run out. I think it will run out this week, and the Rams will win this game. Just Stafford has really impressed me this year. Like I think both of us view him higher than the average NFL fan, but he has gone up a lot in my estimations this year. And I know he's made a lot of mistakes recently, but if you go up against the Rams, you do think, damn, like Stafford, this is a tough, tough match. And the Bears don't have enough to stop him. Only he can really stop himself, I think, if he doesn't play to his level. But I see it being high scoring, like wildly high scoring. The Bears will come roaring back in this one, I say, and maybe even take the lead. This team is crazy. Like, how do they keep doing it?
Will the in attendance? That'd be crazy. That'd be nuts if you saw like the live broadcast and the new Pope, who hails from Chicago, was in the house.
Well, it's like Steelers Ravens. Get them to bless the turf.
Bless the end zone where the field goal was made in the same end zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Use every advantage you got at home field. Get the Pope on the field.
Yeah.
I hope he's free. It is a Sunday, so he might be busy. But it's a night game, so hopefully his business is wrapped up for the day.
Yeah. Over under is 48 and a half. I definitely see it going over.
But there's weather. There's.
There's weather. Yeah. So, what kind of weather though? Just cold or wind?
I mean, we're Thursday. We're 3 games out, but it says -12 in European, whatever that translates to,
Yeah.
and 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Okay. I think Stafford can overcome, but I think Caleb probably will overcome to some degree as well. I said before the start of the season, Caleb would be a top 10 quarterback by the end of the year. Not sure he's made it there, but he's on his way. Like, the narratives are done with Caleb now. Like, we've seen greatness. Like, as I said earlier, that throw that he made on 4th and 8, that's one of the best playoff throws that you'll see. But yeah, Rams win. We agree on one pick, which is this one.
Wow.
And this is going to be another great playoff weekend. So we move to divisional round. Who's going off draft? What's your first pick, Paul?
I'll keep it simple and I think straightforward. I would say Puka Nakua
Yeah.
against Chicago's secondary. Yeah. Like you said, he could have 100 in the first half.
Yep, that would have been my first pick. So I will pivot to give me Joshua Patrick Allen, to go crazy in Denver. He simply has to, if they have any chance of winning this game. Say what you want about the narratives with Josh Allen in the playoffs. He brings his best in these games.
I'll say Kenneth Walker against the 49ers. They're struggling on defense, let's be honest. And yeah, it's understandable with the injuries that they've got. Seattle, good O-line, good running game, 2 good backs. I think that's the game plan for the Seahawks this week. So I'll take Kenneth Walker.
Give me Colston Loveland. It might only happen in the second half, but this is Caleb's favorite target now. And the Rams have been struggling on defense. I think Loveland has a big game.
So I will take the Texans running back Marks against the Patriots. I think they're going to try to run the ball early and often against the Patriots to take some of the pressure off CJ Stroud, who struggled last week in controlling the football against the Steelers. And the Texans had some success last week running the ball against the Steelers. So, yeah, I think that's their game plan this week.
This is a tough pick, a bold pick, in my opinion. Give me run CMC. It isn't going to be through the run game, though. I think CMC, he'll know that he was the cause of that interception in week 17. I think he'll be extra motivated this week. And if the Niners are to stand any chance of winning the game, CMC has to go off to some degree. And I think Shanahan will find ways to get him involved in the passing game. So we move to divisional round, touchdown to glory.
I don't think Loveland's going to be a great price. He is a good pick because he is involved, but I don't
Loveland is 2-1.
Is he? Again?
Yeah.
He was heavily involved last week and he got a red zone target, which was incomplete. What price is Marks, the Texans back? He's not going to be 2-1, but if he was kind of 13-8.
Marks is 6-4.
Okay. Yeah, so Marks are 6-4. Do you like Loveland again at 2-1?
Yeah, give me Colston Loveland at 2-1.
Okay.
Because even if there are struggles, Like I think he will find Loveland this week. I can't believe he didn't find him last week with all the chaos. But yeah, I say Loveland gets involved in the red zone this week.
You got any 49ers players because that will really bump up the price.
It's really tricky because the receivers
Robinson,
like
like Robinson has arrived, and I was like, wow, who's this guy? Oh, it's Demarcus Robinson, who loves playing in the playoffs.
he got a lot of targets. I mean, when you think about it, the matchups were Jennings on Mitchell, so you didn't really want to test that. But Jennings is at 9-4 this week,
Okay.
but he will be on Witherspoon, I guess. So he definitely struggled in week 17.
Yeah, I think it's tough for the 40. But if the
I'll
40,
tell you what. I'll tell you the one that you want to look at maybe. Um, and he had a touchdown in week 1 at 3-1. You can get Jake Tonges. Like he could be this week's Demarcus Robinson. Like not from a yardage standpoint, but from a red zone. We've got to cover Jennings. We've got to cover McCaffrey. We've got to cover Pearsall. Oh, look who's got the fourth option. It's Tonges.
yeah, I mean, we could look foolish or we could look like geniuses if Tunges comes off. Hey, you know him better than me. Let's go with it. So Tunges are what, 3-1?
Let me just think about this.
No, no, don't listen to me. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying I don't know myself because I'm not.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to get swayed by week 1 because like Pearsall really lit them up.
Yeah,
But is Pearsall going to make it through the game?
Jetchery. Like a lot's happened between then and now.
Yeah, and Pearsall like he feels very fragile. Like with these injuries that have built up, one bad hit and he could be out the game. So I don't want to run it like that. No, you know what? My feel is go with Jawan Jennings,
Okay.
9-4.
Yeah, yeah. We're like if they're down there, we know that he's got a shot.
Yeah, with his height, his reach, like he's a difficult matchup.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Okay.
that's Loveland, uh,
Marks
Marks,
and Jennings.
Jennings. I'm gonna throw it out there. It is risky, but it's the playoffs. What's your feeling on 3-1 Bo Nix against this rushing defense?
Yeah. Yeah, we could do that.
We are back where we want to be. It truly is touchdown to glory. You're getting that fourfold at 97-1.
Love it.
So that leaves us with divisional round best bets. These don't have to be spreads or over-unders. You can put player props in here.
I'll keep it simple and say Josh Allen over 38 and a half rushing yards. When the lights are brightest and the stage is the biggest stage, Josh Allen, he takes off and Denver get after the quarterback. I think he's going to escape the pocket and run the football if it's not there. He's shorthanded at receiver. Denver do pressure the quarterback. And the added thing that I was thinking of with this is Josh Allen's a huge human, and will the Broncos even be able to bring him to the ground? So if he escapes, then he's going to be running the ball. Okay. Give me Josh Allen over 38 and a half rushing yards.
Love it. Give me Puka Nakua over 98.5 receiving yards. This is arguably one of the top 3 receivers in the league right now. And this Bears defense is not good against the pass. I think Nakua could be in at halftime.
Yeah, I love that as a double. I love that as a double. I love Josh Allen and Puka. I also love Puka and Devontae, or Puka and Devontae like alternate spreads.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
we can eliminate, you might need to see. I might need to because you could wait until kickoff to play this. You might need to wait to see how bad the wind is in Chicago.
yeah, yeah.
But veteran quarterback,
Power arm as well. They overcome
yeah,
wind. Yeah.
yeah, should be able to throw through it. If he can throw through it, then you've also
Like it's not Purdy or um, someone with a lesser arm like Josh Allen, Stafford. They
a
can just rip it.
Gabriel or a imagine Tua this week outside in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, exactly. What's your second best bet then?
I'll go Rams Bears over 48 and a half points. Yeah, the conditions don't worry me. The defenses do worry me. And yeah, I don't think the total's high enough. Just put it as simple as that.
I agree. I really this is a tricky one because I want to go Purdy rushing, but I think it's dangerous. Like 17 and a half, he usually hits that. He did hit that against Seattle in week 17. I'm not going to go that route. And because we've got Bo Nix in touchdown to glory, I don't really want to go with him rushing either.
Drake May's interesting
Drake
rushing.
May's interesting. Yeah. Hmm. And we've gone Loveland anytime touchdown as well. So
Yeah,
I don't want to go the same route. His over under's 55, which I think he'll hit pretty easily.
yeah, he went over 100 last week. About one of the Seattle backs, but there's two of them, so you don't know. It could be either or.
Yeah, it's like one of those where like sometimes Charbonnet is like it's like he's the lead back suddenly. So
Have you got any guys that could limit Jackson? JSN just is he matchup proof at this point?
oh, yeah, that's got to be the one for sure. That's a great shout. So yeah, give me Jackson Smith and Jigba over 94 and a half. Whether the 49ers can pull off the miracle or not, like you can't really stop Jackson Smith and Jigba. He well, I suppose that the danger is if Seattle get up big, but this is a playoff game. Like they're not going to play it to just win the game like they did in week 17. You have to kill your opponent in these playoff games. So I say JSN goes way over that.